Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about we're going to be finishing up Unit 4. We're going to be doing the very last lesson, and it's percent change. And I kind of have a cute story about percent change. I used to work for Dallas ISD, and I was a sixth grade math teacher. And back then, sixth graders were at the elementary school. They are now at the middle school. And my cute story is I don't know what it is. If you teach math, everybody thinks you're some mathematician, which I'm not. I enjoy math, but I really enjoy English also. I enjoy reading, writing. So I enjoy learning. But I'm a math teacher, okay? So people just think I'm going to know everything. And my principal one day said, "Oh, Mrs. Vitella, you're a math teacher. Let me ask you a math question." And I've had people ask me math questions over the years. It always kind of freaks me out because I'm like, oh my gosh, I probably don't know the answer, but I'll try. And so she had a percent change question. And back then, I don't know why, but Dallas ISD, we were teaching the sixth graders how to do percent change. So I knew how to do it. I just finished teaching it. I'm like, I can help you with that. It was kind of cool to know. And it really is kind of cool to know. It's one thing to know how to find the percent of a number, but to find percent change is different. And it's kind of cool. And so, again, you could say this is everyday math. It is. It just depends on what kind of situations come up in your life. But this could be something you could use in everyday math. But it's a lot sweeter when you can use a calculator, which you guys don't get to use. And I apologize for that next year. So let's look at how to find the percent change. Okay. So it again, we're talking about percent, so we're going to be using the same format we've been using for the past few days, which is percent over 100. Now, what we've been doing is part over whole, percent over 100, part over whole. Today, with percent change, the part over whole will change. And if you look at this equation right here that I'm circling, it says the change over the original. Now, I like to focus on the word difference over original. Difference as in D, original as O, which DO is the word do. If you can remember that, you can remember how to do this because it's just the difference in the numbers over whatever the original number is. Now, the original number is the first number. Whatever they give you first is your original. So without talking anything more about vocabulary, let me just show you what that looks like. Which, by the way, I have 8 problems here. We're only going to be doing 4 of them. Sometimes I know there's kids that like to get ahead. We're not going to be doing all these. It seems kind of pointless. I want you to have time to get to the work. All right, it says 15 is increased to 21. So we're going to find the difference between the two numbers. Now, whatever is the bigger number is the one I'm going to write first. It doesn't matter the order or anything like that. Just to subtract the smaller number from the bigger number. Okay, that's the difference between the two numbers. So I'm finding it's a percent of change, percent increase or percent decrease. So I don't know what the percent is. That's what we're here to figure out. So I'm going to put X over 100 because the 100 will always be there. The X is what we're looking for. But again, the formula says the difference over the original. That's what you have to remember in this. The difference is 6, and the original is the 15. The 15 is the very first number that we had. Now, I could simplify 6 over 15 if I wanted smaller numbers, but I'm going to just go ahead and cross multiply and divide. But I want you to know you can always simplify that fraction. So I have 15 times x. I'm going to keep my variable over to the left. I have 100 times 6, which is 600. And then I'm going to divide, cross multiply, divide. Let's see, 15 goes into that 4 times and actually 40 times. And we could do the math, but to save time, I'm not going to. Top in the box would be 600. Sorry. Whoops, come on. 600. It's not working, so that's okay. All right. All right, just give me a moment here for whatever reason. There we go. All right, this would be 600 divided by 15 top in the box. That's where I got the 40. But for us, instead of just saying 40, we're gonna write exactly what that is, because it's not just like 40 puppies or 40 kitties. It's 40. I am having some problems here. It is 40%. It's a 40% increase. So it's important that we state that we're talking about a percent. Let's look at the next one. 320 is decreased to 304. So the very first thing that I want to figure out in order to figure out the percent change is I have to figure out the difference, and the difference is 16. I'm looking for the percent, so what is over 100 will be an X. The difference is 16. The original is going to be the 320. Now I'm looking at these numbers and thinking these are going to be some pretty big numbers. But when I look at 16 and 32, I realize that 16 and 32 are multiples of 8. I'm going to go ahead and simplify 16 and 32. Now, you may be able to see this. You may not be able to see this. I just want you to know that this is something you can do. So I know that 8, or I know that 16 goes into 16 one time. I could divide the top and I could divide the bottom by 16. Now, I don't expect you to be able to see that, but I can see that. And I want you to see what happens when you simplify the fraction. 16 goes into 320 20 times. So now my numbers are a lot prettier, a lot easier to work with. And when I divide both sides by 20, I get 5. So X equals 5. 5 what? 5%. It is a 5%, and the numbers got smaller. Plus, it says right here it's a decrease. So it's a 5% decrease. Let's look at some word problems. Now, most likely, most of the time, you'll see word problems. So we need to deal with this, and we need to see what we're looking for. Number 5 says last year the average number of absences in the school was 10 students per day. This year the absentee rate is down to 4 students per day. Now you might at this point still not know what you're actually doing, but let's look at the question. The question says, what is the percent decrease? So as soon as you see that, you know that we're going to have X over 100 and then the difference over the original. So let's find the difference. 10 minus 4 is 6. The original is the first number. So there's my difference over original. Now I could simplify 6 over 10, but they're going to still be pretty good numbers once we cross multiply and divide. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have 10 times x is 10x. 100 times 6 is 600. Divide by 10, divide by 10. X equals 60. Yes, there we are. But 60 what? That's really not my answer. It's 60%. 60% increase or decrease. It's very important that you note which. It is a decrease. All right, and the last one, because we're not going to do 7 and we're not going to do 8. Let's look at number 6. Jim's gym had income of $5,000 last month, and this month the total increased to $15,000. What is the percent increase. As soon as I see that, I know it's a percent problem, so I'm going to set up a percent proportion. I'm looking for the percent, so what is over 100 will be an X. And now I need to find the difference. So let's see, I have 15,000 minus 5,000. That, whoops, that equals 10,000. So the difference is 10,000. That's a big number. And the original is, let's see what the original is, 5,000. All right. Now I can do some stuff with this. So let me just show you some cool things you can do. Because the numerator and the denominator have zeros, let's just go ahead and cross some of them out. I can cross out those and those and those. I can't cross out the last zero because there's not a zero left on the denominator. But these numbers suddenly got a lot smaller, which is really nice. So let's see, I have 5 times x, and I have 100 times 10, which is which is 1,000. We're going to divide both sides by 5, and I end up with x equals 200. All right, 200 what? $200? 200 puppies? It's a percent increase. So it's 200% increase. All right. If you're a little confused, please watch the video again. I hope you had a piece of paper out or these notes out and they filled them in as you went. If you didn't, please do yourself a favor and go back and do that. I promise it'll make a whole lot more sense and you'll have something to look back at. I'll see you in a little bit. Good luck with the practice. I know you're going to do wonderfully with it. Bye-bye.